And welcome back to LinkedIn Logs. I'm your host, Chad White. If you didn't know, this is the Jobs Podcast for the website, cpluscomedy.com. Like I just said, it's a website. Go there. Welcome back in. I always seem to be recording this show, or the Constitutionals, or Late Night Lately, one of the three shows I record, during a time in which there's loud noises happening next door. I heard, or there's somebody outside. There's a dumpster people. They're not dumpster people. The people collecting the dumpster from my apartment complex, or the recycling. But as soon as I press play on this, I heard one of the maintenance people come next door and just immediately get to work. No big deal. It's all right. I'm fine. If you were wondering, welcome back in episode 69 of the LinkedIn Logs. Not the LinkedIn Logs, of LinkedIn Logs. We are fresh off of answering an email of quite possibly my biggest interview for C Plus Comedy yet. I'm not saying I'm going to get it, but based on the criteria, based on the track record I have, yeah, I better get it. No, it was great. So a PR person reached out to me. They sent out a mass email. They did not say, "Hey, Chad." I don't think so. At least I wasn't paying attention. Typically, I just kind of skim through those. But I give you a little behind the scenes. I saw the email. I clicked on it because I didn't recognize the name. Usually, if I don't recognize the PR person's name, that means we don't know each other, and that means they added me to their email list for a reason. What is it? C Plus Comedy, or is it? And I saw what they were offering. First of all, they were just saying, "This is happening. This movie is coming out in May." And I said, "Ooh, I wonder if they're going to be doing press." Sent out an email. 10 minutes later, I'm taking Maverick out to the dog park. We'd love for you to talk to these people. You want to talk to everybody? Yes. Yeah, I'll take whatever you want. Whatever you can give me, I'll take it. It's wonderful. It's excellent. It also helps that I've been doing this for 12 years. That's a very big thing. Sometimes I don't get this question much anymore, but I'll share on the C Plus Comedy or my personal social medias. I'll share clips of the interviews, whatever I clipped out. And then sometimes people are like, "How do you get this?" Like, I've been doing this while you were out getting jobs, graduating college. After you graduated from college, I was 2 years into doing this. And then now we're 10 years removed even from that. And I'm like, you better pay attention to me. Industry go. Today was leg day. I'm tired is what I'm trying to say. I still have to do some yoga. All right, let's get on with this first thing. Oh, hold on. Before I get into the first thing, last week I subscribed to Adobe Creative Cloud so that I may edit the audio for this, do the video, Photoshop, all that jazz. And I was on Adobe Express, which is their creative platform where you can create anything easily. So with it, you can do, I have to triple check and make sure there's nothing of importance inside. I'm going to share the window. I just have to make sure there's nothing inside of the Google Chrome that people can see. Because sometimes I accidentally share my email or whatever. Yeah, share Chrome. Okay. So as you can see, we are on the Adobe Express. If you're watching the video, yeah, okay. No, I can share whatever's on the screen. We're yeah, you'll see a little preview of the stories coming up, but you can see that with Adobe Express, you can create things. They call it content. You can generate with AI. You can do whatever. I have. If you're looking at all my recent files, there's just like a lot of C+ comedy stuff. But then you can make flyers, you can do motion design, graphic design, whatever you, and they make it very easy. I recently redid my resume, which is very neat. You can also see my work email just sitting out there, but you can't see how to email me. La 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 la. You can see I got a message. And Adobe Express is great because it literally is drag and drop. For better or worse, it's drag and drop, and it's just sometimes things work, and you're building the Lego pieces, and sometimes it doesn't. That's what happened with this drag and drop stuff. But I found a resume thing. I found they have a bunch of free and premium resume templates, and I redid my entire resume. They have and oddly enough, also this is where I do the invoices for the audiobooks. Oddly enough, there's a lot of resume templates with people's pictures on them, as if that's a new thing. Like to make it, and with like colors and splash of art and all that stuff. Whereas we've been told our entire lives not to have all that stuff. But I was so reticent about putting my picture on there. I don't want to put my picture on there because, quite frankly, I know companies will not hire based on looks alone. Because now a lot of comedy shows, late night shows, whatever, they will hire based on your work as you should. They will hire based on your work. I know Samantha Bee's show on TBS, Full Frontal, rest in peace. That show, they didn't have names. They just hired. They saw your resume. They took like blind resumes, and that was amazing. Obviously, their reps were attached to her or whatever. I know that's happened with a lot of different shows, and that's how jobs should do. It shouldn't be on what college you went to. It shouldn't be on what Greek life thing you were a part of in that college. It shouldn't be based on who you know. It should be based on what you can do. Because quite frankly, again, and I might be a little biased, but if I saw somebody, when I was making my resume, and I'm gonna pop it open. You can't see it because my email address is on there. Which I'm sure I've shown off in this show by accident. I just didn't catch it. But based on my experience, on the things that I've even put on here and even the things I've left out, I would hire me. I say this all the time whenever I'm on LinkedIn, but I would hire me based on, just the titles alone. Also, I'm trying something new. I do have a separate resume, my older resume, like a couple months old, that is more detailed in the experience department. But I'm trying something new here, in that, for my experience, under each position is just one sentence, 2 at most. But I'm trying to I have my portfolio website up there. I have, that's not C+ Comedy. It's chadcwhite.com. Go give it a gander. But I also have like C+ Comedy under like a section called Achievements. I've scaled back on the education because I'm almost 32 years old. And again, school should not matter. It should not matter. It should not matter. But the description is a little bit shorter. I did take out a couple of sentences and rejigger that. But experience I've had, I still have my oldest first adult working experience, which is 11 Alive News, NBC News. And that was in 2016. It is now 2025. And I have yet to find anything permanent. At one point, I had something permanent at EW Scripts under Bounce TV. I was making less money than I made at the next position that was contract, which is interesting to say the least. All right, now we can get to this first story. This comes from Jake Cantor over at Deadline. BBC News presenters settle 3-year dispute over sham hiring process. Now, originally, when I saw this article and I clicked on it, I thought it was something else, but in regards to BBC. But apparently, BBC News has a lot of issues when it comes to women in jobs. BBC News presenters Martine Croxall, Karen Gioni, Kasia Madeira, and Anita McVeigh, give me a B+ for all that, have settled a 3-year dispute over what they described as a quote-unquote sham recruitment process. Deadline revealed last week that the seasoned news anchors were in talks with the BBC over a settlement ahead of an employment tribunal on March 17th in London, which would have been yesterday. They have now agreed on a deal to end their legal action, though the terms of settlement are not disclosed. In a statement, the presenter said, "We can confirm that we have reached a resolution with BBC management that avoids the need for a tribunal hearing in respect of our employment-related claims." Sources said this week that the settlement was in the interest of both sides. The BBC will have wanted to avoid a costly bruising headline, blah, blah, blah. Okay, anyway. These women were working for the BBC News, and they were regular fixtures on the channel after some time off air, and now they're back. During a preliminary hearing late last year, the BBC News anchors claimed they were forced off screen for a year and harassed after being victims of quote unquote a rigged hiring process in January of 2023. Each one applied to become a chief presenter on the new BBC News channel. If you know that they hired a bunch of newer people, not newer, I don't want to say younger, but they hired new faces to lead the BBC News in the same way that I don't know, Craig Melvin has taken over Hoda's seat on Today's Show, and in the same way that Maurice Dubois and John Dickerson are taking over CBS News evenings, CBS Evenings News. They've done it, and how whoever the guy is taking over Lester Holt's spot for NBC News. I don't know who it is, and I quite frankly forgot. And I won't look it up. The women applied to become a chief presenter on the retooled BBC News channel, but alleged that managers predetermined their preferred candidates before the hiring process began. They also made related sex and age discrimination claims, which, again, I believe the BBC News did have... I'm trying to type. I just typed in sex hiring. Did have discriminations against that. Now let's see. How long ago? Who were? I'm thinking of something. Maybe I have to type in age discrimination. Age discrimination. 2022. It was a long time ago. No, okay. So this is more or less the same story. How are we still talking about this? I'm talking like still doing things like this type of ageism and sexual discrimination. Discrimination. How are we still doing this? The BBC stood by its rigorous and fair recruitment process and an internal HR investigation and concluded in 2023 that successful chief presenters were not promised their jobs before an open hiring procedure. Now, typically, you know this if you work at a company, a big enough company, that there are times when companies say, hey, we're going to be hiring for this new position. If you would like to apply, then you can apply internally. Okay. There's always internal applications. A lot of times you'll hear about the jobs well before they're posted on the internal site. And oftentimes the jobs are often posted on the internal site before they're posted on open sites for everybody, like LinkedIn or whatever. You can just go if I was still at Warner Brothers, oftentimes, a lot of times I could see on the work day for WBD or whatever the internal site was, excuse me. I could see on the internal site that the job was open, and then on the work day, it'll pop up like a week later. They have to do that legally because it gives the outside posting, because it gives everybody a chance. Whereas I think that they are often just hiring internally. And that's probably true, but yeah, whatever. Sorry, I saw an article that I need to click on. In a statement, the BBC said, this is a separate article I will be reading on my own. After careful consideration, we have reached a resolution that brings to an end protracted legal proceedings with 4 members of staff and avoids further costs for the BBC. In doing so, we have not accepted any liability or any of the arguments we made against the BBC. We are simply bringing to close all the actions brought against us so that all involved can move forward. I wonder if what they settled on, what the settlement terms were, are these women going to get paid more? But that doesn't necessarily allow for them to have better jobs. And if they're back on the air, they're more than likely back on in their same correspondent positions. The BBC News launched a news channel that's just like a singular BBC News. They used to have like 2 or 3 different offerings of that version of news, but now it's all just kind of whittled down to one thing, mostly to save money, I could only assume. It's kind of like their CNN, but British. I watch BBC News. I watch BBC America as well, mostly for the Graham Norton show. Sorry, I thought something was crawling on me. It felt like something was crawling on me. I was outside. Maybe something was. But every night I watch PBS NewsHour, and before PBS NewsHour, BBC News is playing on one of the PBS stations, and then during PBS NewsHour at 6:30, or it's at 6 o'clock rather, there's another BBC News with, quite frankly, a presenter I really enjoy watching. Who cares? No one's listening to this. The presenters argued that BBC News bosses, quote, privately assured 4 other chief presenters, 2 men and 2 younger women, their jobs were safe. After challenging the process, Coroxel, Gioni, Madeira, and McVeigh, I give myself a B+ for that, claimed that they lost their jobs while some were demoted and others faced a pay cut. The successful candidates include Matthew Amraliwala, Christian Fraser, Yalda Hakim, Lucy Hawkins, and Mariam Moshiri. I don't think any of those people are the... Oh, yeah, Mariam Moshiri is the woman that was caught flicking off the camera that one time. That was so funny. That was such a funny thing. If you've never... just go look up Mariam Moshiri flicking off the camera. And what happened... It was something that happens all the time. And she wasn't doing it out of spite or malice. She was... they were moving the cameras, and I assume somebody was talking to her in the producer's box, and then she was just like, "Oh yeah, well," and then she flipped them off. I've worked in the news for a collective 3 or 4 years, and it's worse things have been done and said inside of when we're off camera. But anyway, they came back from commercial break a couple of seconds early, and that happened. It's a very funny clip. Those in charge of the hiring process are no longer responsible for the BBC News Channel. Former News Channel editor Jess Brammar now serves as an editorial executive in BBC content, working closely with outgoing chief Charlotte Moore. Naja Nielsen. Okay, doesn't matter. The women have also made claims about gender pay discrimination, but a London Central Employment Tribunal judge ruled last year that this could not form part of the main hearing because they had previously reached salary settlements. I wonder, the National Union of Journalists said the women planned on appealing the decision, but it's been withdrawn, probably part of the settlement. I wonder what the union said about this in its entirety. The New York Times, the New York Union, the Writers Union, is that what it's called? The News Union would have been over this. They would have been backing the presenters immediately. I also, again, I don't know, without any actual argument, without any resolution that's immediately available aside from the idea that they've settled. I wonder what this will bring for these 4 women going forward at the BBC. Now, if those people who are in charge are gone, is this going to allow these women to flourish? They're not, I'm looking at a picture of them. They're not old. So I wonder how come they weren't offered the positions. And yes, age is definitely a part of this. And I'm not saying that's right, but age is definitely a part of this because, Judy Woodruff is gone from PBS NewsHour, and she was replaced with Amna Nawaz and Jeff Bennett. So the idea that that age wasn't a part of it, I guess internally, but these women, they look the exact same ages as the people that were hired. It just seems to be like a favoritism thing. It really stinks, and I hope that they do get their chances to do better work. Maybe they can move over to Sky. Maybe they can move over to competing networks. Hey, listen, I got one more thing to talk about. This comes from, I'm in the wrong email. Now, this is not a story. I was applying to jobs, the typical thing. And I was on LinkedIn and they offered me 1 free month of premium. And I just thought, let's review premium. Let's review LinkedIn Premium. Now, if you don't know what LinkedIn Premium is, you're obviously not reading the pop-ups on the website, even though I have an ad blocker on here. Don't tell Google. LinkedIn Premium is a paid service that opens up the gates to what your LinkedIn is. Unfortunately, now you have to. They have multiple plans for LinkedIn Premium. They have Career, which is $30 a month, and Business, which is $60 a month. They also have a few more under Sales Navigator and Recruiter, this is so stupid. But for Career, which is one I signed up with, you get, it's based on you to get you hired and get ahead. So you stand out. This is from them. Stand out and get in touch with hiring managers. You only get 5 messages with people who you're not connected with. See how you compare to other applicants and learn new skills to advance your career. If you know this show, I don't work in first of all, I don't work. Second, I don't work in a job that will need new skills taught via LinkedIn. If you get what I mean. I would say pretty much everything I do, everything I've done in production, television, film, digital, whatever, has involved hands-on learning. And it's not to say that the things learned via LinkedIn Learning or whatever the heck it's supposed to be called are invaluable. It's saying that it's just not for me. In the same way that I can't just go to a temp agency if they still exist, which I know they don't. But I can't just go to a temp agency and say, this is my resume. I've changed it around to do business things. Can you please give me a job or a temporary position? One time, I know I've mentioned this before. I've gone to temp agencies before. This is years ago. This is years ago though. And I was told I had too much experience. This is like in the time period between me working at 11 Alive and the Weather Channel, or the Weather Channel and Bounce TV. I remember very specifically about before I had the Weather Channel, I think, I went to a temp agency, or a job placement agency rather, in Buckhead, by Buckhead Plaza. I forgot the building. I know what the building is. Should I just say the building? Hold on. I think I will. I think if I can find it on Google Maps, I will say the building's name. It was on Piedmont Road at... Just gonna dox this place. I don't care. They should have been more kind to me. I'm kidding. It's all a joke. At the Ameris Bank building, it's called 2 Ameris Center, and at 2 Ameris Center, which I assume we shared with a bank. Yeah, one building is for the bank, and then the other one is where Bounce TV was. You're getting to the. I'm telling the end of the story before I even tell the rest of the story. Anecdote. I went at that building at 2 Ameris Center. I went to a job placement company that was at the bottom floor, on the first floor of that building. And then like a year later, after I was at the Weather Channel and I was looking for a job and I was hired at Bounce TV, I was interviewed and hired in that same building at Bounce TV, Court TV, which was crazy. Because I remember I went to the building the second time. I was like, whoa, this looks really familiar. And that job placement company was gone. But I remember the woman at the job placement company. We sat through like this 20-minute seminar. Also, this is when I was living in the suburbs. So I drove down to Buckhead, 45 minutes, to be told by this woman, oh, hey, I don't think we're going to be able to find anything for you. You have a little bit too much experience. And I'm like, what? And then I went home and my mom was so mad. Not at me, but at the situation. So with LinkedIn Premium, you get InMails, which again are 5 messages that you can send to people. Just 5 though, 5 total for the month. It's like Hinge. You know, you're swiping through, you only get 7 likes per day. It's crazy. You should like it. I should be able to like as many women as I want. You get to see a future profile. You get LinkedIn Learning, and I was correct about the name, which is those free, I guess they're free courses. You get unlimited searches, which I didn't know was a thing. And you get open profile option. I don't know what that is. Let's scroll through these things to see. So as the InMails, as I've said, you can bypass the connections in order to just send 5 InMails. Apparently it goes up. If you're a recruiter, you can send 150. Oh, I must be every recruiter's 151st. Oh, I can't send them an InMail. Oh my God. You can see who's viewed your profile. You can see the analytics about people viewing your profile and all that stuff. All right, let's get to LinkedIn Learning, which is you can take educational offerings, which is like how to land a job and getting better at sales, improving your recruiting workflow. That stuff I don't need. Anything related to marketing, social media for your business. Jesus. Okay. What's unlimited searches? With a basic LinkedIn account, you have a limited number of searches. If you use the free search tools too many times, you'll be blocked for a while. It's called the commercial use limit, approximately 300 searches per month. This is from Prospeo.io. They have a blog on this. And I didn't know this is a real thing. Wow. What is open profile option? If you have a LinkedIn premium account, you can turn on the open profile option. This lets people outside your direct connection send you free InMails. This is useful if you're a freelancer, a consultant, and a job seeker. Okay. And then you also get like a special badge, which means jack shit in the long run. It's like people paying for the check marks on Instagram or TikTok or if people still use it, Twitter. All right. Now, in the end, I hate to ask this question, but is LinkedIn Premium worth it? I've used the platform before, and again, I've never paid for it. I believe there was a point in time where they gave away 2 or 3 months, and I used it for like the first month religiously, and then afterward I wasn't getting anywhere, so I just kind of let it die. Is it something that you should need? Now, if you are somebody, I would say, if you're a recruiter, because I often see recruiters doing all the posts and everything, taking it too seriously. I'm thinking of one recruiter in particular. He's no longer with the company. It's fine. Now, if you're a recruiter, I can see this working for you. If you are a hiring manager, if you're somebody who's big, then I can definitely see that. This being something that is just an expense, and it works for you and it works for your company. No matter how big your company is, no matter how small your company is. If you are somebody who is going to be constantly using LinkedIn as people use it for, unfortunately, a social media platform, then it's exactly who Premium is for. At its current cost of $20? It's not for the $30. Excuse me, it's not, or 40, isn't it 40? Anyway, anything over $5 for this is not for somebody like me, or even people who are comfortable in their careers, and they're not going to be coming here all the time doing everything in regards to what LinkedIn wants you to do. Like if LinkedIn Premium, if they charged that, and they have games now. So what if they brought those games into the premium account and dropped it to like $15 a month? At that point, that's something that is worth it. But for what it is, a glorified social media platform, it's not something that people should seek out. Again, I mean, I think it'd be different for everybody, but this is just what I like it, and I'm glad that they've done this. What I like it for now are the career insights, and unfortunately, they've hidden things like the jobs that you would be good at under Premium. So sometimes you only, like, they have a section that says jobs where you're more likely to hear back. And right now I can see every single job, but before I would only be able to see 2, and then the rest of them would be blurred out. I also do like the implementation of what they've done with AI, even though I wouldn't consider it completely necessary. I do think it's a good addition, good, not great, addition to the job searching process. Because I can go to a job, here's a creative strategist live content position over at Netflix. I can go and I can see, let me close this email so I don't show that off again. But I can go here. If you're watching the video, you can see the article that I opened up. I don't watch the show White Lotus, but it is a very interesting article about Jason Isaacs calling out Gayle King, and I just wanted to read what that was about. Anyway, but I can go to this Netflix thing, and I can click on, am I a good fit, or tailor my resume, or how can I best fit the position myself? And then when you click on that, it can tell you, hey, here's this is for a New York Times job that I applied to. Hey, well, actually, I'll just click on it. It's the AI is going to be reviewing the skills, and it's going to say, based on your, okay, let it build, let it fill. Okay. It's going to say, based on the description and your profile, you have a potential fit for the creative strategist role at Netflix. I've got experience in production and writing, which aligns with the creative aspects of the role. I've got skills in creative content creation and editing, creative content creation and editing, which are valuable for developing promotional assets. To enhance my fit, it's going to tell me that I need to consider highlighting any experience with live content or marketing and streaming industry, which, I'm sure I can make up something based on that. And that's good. That's something that I want. And I know it sounds kind of vague in this aspect, but I can't just shun off AI for this. Also with Premium, I can see, you can see how you compare with other applicants in the job. There's 9,034 people that apply to the job. Because this is not in like an easy apply job, this is just an apply job. This is for you click on it and it'll take you to the Netflix job page. I've not applied to this. I applied to something else. Unfortunately, I do believe that, or fortunately rather, those applicants are just the clicks to get to the apply, which is, they're not 9,000 people not apply to this, maybe 7,000. You can see where everybody who's applied, entry level people clicked on it, senior level people clicked on it. You can see their education levels. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Who gives a shit? You can see exclusive job seeker insights regarding that job, where the focus areas are, all this stuff, which is excellent. This is stuff that I truly don't need, but it's nice to have it. I'd rather have too much information and then I'm able to double check it, as opposed to not having enough information and going, what does Netflix really want from me? So that works. As for other features, there's nothing, I go to my profile, there's nothing that's immediate about, what I'm seeing. I go to home, there's nothing immediately jumping out, but it's once you dig into the minutia where Premium really opens up, and that's a huge negative for it. Like, they should be showing you, this is what you can do. Not, hey, you're paying us. Here's the premium features. Will it work? Only time will tell. God, I hope so. Hey, listen, if you like what you heard here, head to the website cpluscomedy.com, where you can see me talk to famous people. I just put out an interview with God, I've been setting up so many good interviews lately that I don't even know who I talked to. If I'm correct, I think it is the cast of NBC's The Hunting Party. Sarah Garcia, Josh McKenzie, and Patrick Sabangi. I talked to them. I just put out that interview. Today's Tuesday. Tomorrow, you'll see another interview coming out in video form and on audio form on Thursday. And on audio form. On audio form. If you want to see a video version of the interviews, go to YouTube and this show and of the other podcasts, The Constitutionals, which is the Entertainment Business News podcast, and Late Night Lately, which is the late night show. Go to youtube.com/C+comedy. You can also subscribe to those shows wherever you get your podcasts. Follow us on social media, TikTok, Instagram, Blue Sky, Facebook @C+comedy, me @ChadBlackWhite. Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you next time. Bye.